referendum and that they advertise it accordingly, and then it is placed on the November 3rd election to be voted on. The question and the proposed order has to be entered by the judge by August 14th, so it's coming up quickly. Once that referendum is passed, if it is passed, and the citizens say they would like the sales tax, then we will be obligated to come back and pass an ordinance. We'll have to have a public hearing on this ordinance, and the tax would be effective 120 days after adoption of such ordinance. So as soon, the soonest it could likely be invoked is May 2027 if all goes according to plan. So, are there any questions?
For the referendum to pass, is it a 51%?
I believe so.
All right, members, have any questions for Catherine?
All right, Catherine, I'm looking at county resolution, the second bullet point. Says the resolution must state whether if the school projects will be bond loan financed, the date by which the bond loans will be repaid, or two, if not bond loan financed, a specific expiration date for the tax no more than 20 years after the resolution's adoption. So which one would we do?
So we've put in both because there's a lot of fluidity in this law. A lot of people, a lot of local government lawyers are questioning the language. So in the resolution, we made it as encompassing as possible for the schools. So we have the deadlines for the bonds, but we also did put in that 20-year deadline, and it has to be 20 years, no more than 20 years from the date of the passing of the resolution. So that's hopefully
That answers
today,
my question.
July 30th, 2046.
if it is passed.
And what, Catherine, does this 1% sales tax not able to collect on? Food, groceries is one, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a retail, I'm trying to think of specific examples. Food and groceries are not, but it would be like if you went and bought a fishing pole, for example, I think. Right. I don't know why that example came to my head, but that's.
So medicine, personal hygiene.
Yes.
Mr. Outlaw?
I think the way it's worded is food for home consumption. And so if you have a restaurant, you go in to buy something that is not, that is subject to the tax. And then hygiene products, and it goes into some detail on what that encompasses.
Right.
So it wouldn't cover gas?
No.
I think so.
Gas would be on there.
All right,
And drugs.
this is going to, you want me to read this resolution?
You can read it. You don't have to read it. It might be wise to read it, just so everybody knows what you guys are looking at.
All right, let's have a volunteer.
I'm not gonna read the resolution.
Where is it
Sorry,
at?
it is long, but it is.
I'll read it. Where is it?
All right, you want to do it?
Oh, you got it.
Mr. Ingham, go ahead.
All right. Whereas section 58.1-605.1 of the Code of Virginia, as amended by the 2026 budget bill signed June 29th, 2026, authorizes a county or city in the Commonwealth, subject to approval by referendum, to levy an additional local retail sales tax rate not to exceed 1% to provide revenue solely for capital projects for the construction or renovation of schools in the locality. And whereas revenues from any tax imposed under Virginia Code 58.1-605.1 must be used solely for capital projects for new construction or major renovation of schools in the qualifying locality, including bond and loan financing costs related to such construction or renovation. And whereas the Board of Supervisors of Nottoway County, Virginia finds that additional revenue is needed to support capital projects for the construction or renovation of public school facilities serving Nottoway County, and whereas Virginia Code 58.1-605.1 requires approval of the additional local sales tax by referendum held in accordance with Virginia Code 24.2-684 and initiated by resolution of the local governing body, and whereas the board desires to initiate such referendum and to request that the Circuit Court of Nottoway County enter an order directing that the referendum be held at the November 3rd, 2026 general election, and whereas Virginia Code 58.1-605.1 requires the initiating resolution to state the date on which the additional local sales tax will expire, either by reference to the repayment date of bonds or loans used to finance the capital improvements, or if such projects are not financed by bonds or loans, by a specified date not more than 20 years after the date of this resolution. And whereas, for any such capital projects for the construction or major renovation of schools in the county not be financed by bonds or loans, the tax levied pursuant to this resolution, if approved by referendum, shall expire on July 30th, 2046. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Supervisors of the County of Nottoway, Virginia. The supervisors, number one, the Board of Supervisors hereby initiates, pursuant to Virginia Code 58.1-605.1, a referendum on whether the Nottoway County may levy an additional local retail sales tax not to exceed 1%, with revenues to be used solely for capital projects for the construction or renovation of schools and related facilities in Nottoway County. 2, for any such capital projects for the construction or major renovation of schools in the county financed by bonds or loans, the tax levied pursuant to this resolution, if approved by referendum, shall expire on the day at which such bonds or loans shall be repaid. 3, for any such capital projects for the construction or major renovation of schools in the county is not financed by bonds or loans, tax levied pursuant to this resolution, if approved by referendum, shall expire on July 30th, 2046. Number 4, the Board of Supervisors hereby requests that the Circuit Court of Nottoway County enter an order in accordance with Virginia Code 58.1-605.1 and 24.2-684, directing that a referendum be held in Nottoway County at the November 3rd, 2026 general election. Number 5, the Board of Supervisors requests that the referendum question appear on the ballot in the following form, subject to approval and modification by the Circuit Court as required by law. And this is the question. Shall Nottoway County be authorized to levy a general local sales tax at a rate of 1%, with revenues from such tax to be used solely for capital projects for the construction or renovation of schools in Nottoway County, including related bond and loan financing costs, and with such tax to expire no later than July 30th, 2026. And then you have a yes or a no to check. Number 6, the county administrator, county attorney, and other appropriate officers and employees of Nottoway County are authorized and directed to take all actions necessary and appropriate to carry out this resolution, including preparing and filing any petition, motion, proposed order, certified copy of this resolution, or other materials necessary to request entry of the referendum order by the Circuit Court of Nottoway County. Number 7, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. And then the certification is the underlined clerk of the board will certify that we've done this.
Any members have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the motion to adopt the resolution for the referendum that Supervisor Ingram just read off.
I have them first.
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that's 4-0. Mr. Rourke is absent. All right, and you're going to take care of the circuit clerk.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank
Sir,
you.
thank you. Help us.
We will help. Who wants to work at home?
That's
Thank you, Catherine.
You're welcome.
I think it's, yes, sir.
All right, let's look at our agenda. And District 3 Supervisor vacancy. We had tabled this question to go to August 13th work session. We didn't have this meeting scheduled at that point. We are now authorized to have a supervisor on the ballot for Ms. Norton's seat. So that kind of puts us in a place where I don't think tonight is a place where we need to do anything. Once we get to the 13th, the work session, then we'll know if we've got people running for office. And if there's multiple people running for office, and I know as Mr. Toth said, he didn't want to give somebody an unfair advantage. We had Ms. Norton who was concerned that there was not representation. If we get to the 13th and we have one
then we should consider.
We can appoint,
That's
go ahead and
right, yeah,
appoint.
that's right.
Okay, go ahead and appoint, because we're within our 45 days. If there's 2 or 3, we'll have that discussion. But then we'll know. We'll know if we've got qualified candidates getting ready to run for office. Is that a kind of a reasonable?
It's very reasonable.
Well, I would like to comment that I have talked to probably 30 to 40 people, and they are very upset that they won't have representation, the potential of not having representation from August 1st until December 31st.
That's,
The only fair way of doing it is if you.
it's going to be November, it's the day after the election, or as soon as she can get, or she or he can get sworn in. Isn't that right, Catherine?
I think it's January, isn't it?
I thought it was January.
If they're elected, it's January. If they appointed, they can come earlier.
It's a general election.
Yeah, but the seat's vacant, I believe.
But I don't.
So none of, so we haven't read, okay, if you could
I will double
read,
check.
Well,
I
here,
didn't know we were talking about this tonight, so
Yeah.
I will
What-
have that on the 13th.
okay, have that for us on the 13th.
Absolutely.
Okay.
what
that'll-
would be the problem? Let's say we wait till the election. Why couldn't we appoint the person that won the election the next day?
Because you're not in the 45 days.
Yeah, you gotta be within them 45.
Oh, you gotta do it within the 45, I got you.
So if you got multiple people that's qualified that says they're gonna run, and we decide to appoint one of those persons, then the only fair way of doing it is drawing straws, as far as my opinion is. Because otherwise, it could be a bit of favoritism showed. And I realize that we eliminate that by a voting process, but I'm not gonna vote for one individual over another individual that says they're running and they're qualified. So if they wanna, if that district wants representation, then draw straws for it.
What-
The,
What's the deadline for people qualifying? What's the date on that, do you know?
I would have to double check.
I think it's August 5th, and then the 14th to
I
the,
think that's right. I don't want to speak out of turn.
I
because
got you.
don't know them off my head, but
I
I
got
will
you.
have all of that information for you on
Okay.
the 13th.
so we'll table again till the 13th, at which time we may appoint.
That's right.
If there's multiple, then we'll have further discussion.
It's always been my opinion that if you appoint a person, they've got a leg up.
And let me just clarify too, it's a confusing situation because we're having a special election on the general election. So usually if you have appointed somebody, then they take the seat now. But I just want to double check those dates for putting them, so if they were elected on the third.
I think I read that if it's vacant, they can come in.
I just want
But
to.
just read, before we say it,
Double check.
Well, let me, that brings the next question. If we appointed someone, is there still election in November, or does it?
Yeah.
Yes, they
So
have
they
to
don't
run.
carry that, they have to run. They don't
Yeah.
carry that term of our normal 4 years.
Yes, it's required, they're required to run, and then they'll finish
No, that won't be a 4-year term, Bo.
this.
It'll be a year and a half,
Right,
and then they'll have to run for the full
yeah,
year.
1 year.
Okay.
So yes, and again, Bill, I just want to check that. because it's
yeah, that's
not-
fine, that's fine.
Not a normal,
No, it's just,
we're having a special.
Yeah.
there's a difference between the end of December and the beginning of November. That's 2 months. So, it's not as long as they're not represented if we've got multiple people running.
But they're still not gonna be represented from August 1st until whatever
They
happens
can't be
in
represented
November.
they can't be represented any earlier than
No.
the 45 days anyway. Right?
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, you could go ahead.
Appoint them within,
So you mean we could appoint somebody, August 1st and they take over August 2nd?
yes, well,
They have to get sworn in.
Okay.
But let's see who gets qualified to run. And then maybe we'll have somebody that's not running that would want to serve for a couple months. That wouldn't give them any favoritism, Bo. If you had somebody that wasn't running, that would want to serve for a couple months.
That's true if they said they wasn't, but then if they change their mind and flip
But
on
you
you.
get past the 13th, they won't.
Well, that's true.
Right.
The, getting qualified, appointed individual does not have to seek signatures, correct?
I'm sorry, can you?
Does a appointed individual, they don't have to seek any
No, that
signatures?
is
No,
our,
they're just appointed by.
by us.
Us, right, okay, just for clarification.
It's my understanding that if any of the political parties choose you, that you don't have to get signatures.
That's even when you run. If you're actually running an election, you don't, that's right.
So if you're selected by the Democrats or selected by the Republicans, you don't have to get 125 feet.
That's right.
Okay.
That was my understanding as well.
All right, we're going to just have an announcement, and we'd like as much participation as we can on this. This is the community meeting for the courthouse project. This will be at the Crew Volunteer Fire Department, Thursday, August 13th, from 5 to 7. So English Construction will be there. Board members will be there. I don't know that I'm not going to get there right at 5 because I'm be coming from work. But there will be displays, information. The citizens will have the ability to ask questions of us and the contractors. So we'd like really good participation on that. If get the word out and try to get everybody over to, and thank Chief Schneff for letting us use his room. Certainly appreciate that. Mr. Bowen? Mr. Bowen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There will be dollar figures discussed that night, won't there?
Yes, sir. They will kind of give you an idea of what it will not exceed.
Okay.
Okay.
So that'll be the final piece of the puzzle for our citizens to understand what this court order is doing.
That's correct. That's right.
Okay. All right, we're going to go to comments from members of the board, and then we do have to go into closed session. Vice Chairman Toad.
Cameron, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I just want to thank Ms. Norton and Dickie Ingram and you as well. And I know behind the scenes, a lot of people don't see that kind of stuff. But that 1% referendum, a lot of our board members pushed for that with our delegates and our senators. So I just want to thank you. A lot of people don't realize that, but I just want you to know that. Anyway, if I want the public to know that. That's it.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Bowen. Mr. Toad.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. The 1% sales referendum is a good, fair way of imposing or not imposing that. That gives the citizens an opportunity to vote as how they want to do that. But it would also help the taxpayers because it would be less required tax money that has to go to the school board. By the way, they collected on up to, I think that figure was like 1.3 million is what we said that the potential to collect.
Potentially, yeah.
And then Ms. Norton has brought forward, and she may be talking about that in her closing comments, so I'm gonna leave it up to her, and hopefully she'll do that. But that's all I've got.
Mr. Ingram.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, again, I got to say,
You've been out in the sun too long.
Bo, that's a great point. I gotta add on. I keep forgetting that. We need to figure out to make sure the general public understands that referendum. It will take pressure off and tax burden off the landowners and real estate and personal property. It's people passing through that buys things, and that would help with that tax. I just need to say that. Anyway, I'm concerned about people not going to understand the sales tax.
Well, just have conversations with people. We've got a few months. So.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, Mr. Ingram.
Yeah, ever since I got on this board, I've been trying to get a 1% deal. Then when it came to schools, it makes sense to us because we know that our schools, the newest school we had was built in '97. So you think about how old that school is, and you look at Nottoway Intermediate. I think that was 1948, maybe 1949. You look at Crew Primary and Blackstone Primary in 1968, I think on both of them. So you're looking at buildings that are going to need a lot of work, and we know that. And the school board has come to us before and told us that. Some of them are not handicap compliant, they're not ADA compliant, and that's got to be done. And where are you going to find that money? To me, this is a common sense thing to do. That this money only goes to the schools for either new construction or repairs. And we know that these schools need repairs. And there's only two ways for us to fund it. Either we do this tax, this 1% sales tax, and then we're still gonna have to put more money to it. But if we don't do the 1% sales tax, then it's gonna fall, as Bo said, it's gonna fall on the landowners and the personal property owners. And they're already on our necks now because of what we're charging for personal property and land. So, I mean, it makes common sense to me. I see even that Chesterfield is considering doing this. And a lot of counties across the state are going to this. They're getting the opportunity and they're going to do it. Prince Edward's going to do it. Prince Edward had already passed it one time and then it got vetoed. So think about that. Other counties are going to do it. You know, I heard somebody say, well, I just go somewhere else and buy my stuff. You're going to be paying for their schools instead of ours if you do that. So please think about that and you talk to your friends and your neighbors and say, hey, it's 1 cent. If you spend $1, it's 1 cent. You know, think about that. And hopefully the folks will realize that this is a good option and probably the only option we got to get enough money to take care of the schools. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Norton?
Yes, I too would like to weigh in on the 1% tax. I think it's a fair tax, and it doesn't target just the people that live here. It's people coming through. But I had the pleasure, today I was working in Clarksville, and I had the pleasure of meeting with Senator Tammy Mulcahy. She was at the same place I was, and we were talking about this, and she made me aware of something which I'm sure Damian Rowe in the audience is aware of, the School Construction Assistance Program. It's called SCAP. They donate money, well not donate, award money through an application process that I've got several schools in the areas, they call it gambling money. Halifax, George Washington High School, Forest Hill Elementary. These schools receive grant funds anywhere from $1.8 million to $23 million from this funding program. So I'm hoping that our schools will look at this as a supplement, because it's kind of luck of the draw through the application process, but they may be able to get this funding, and then if there's a match required, then the county could use the 1% sales tax to meet the initial fund match. But I was unaware of that. Really appreciate her being able to give me the information, and I got a lot of it right here. I'm gonna pass on to our board, and I'll pass it on to you, Damien. I'll have Andrea send y'all some information. But it's a very viable solution. It's a lot of money. And on that note, I really hope you all will continue to beat this. I did concede and come to tonight's meeting, didn't know this was going to be another meeting. And I do want to apologize to the District 3 citizens that this decision the necessary decision I made has created a void and a vacancy in representation on this board for you. I did not intend for that to happen. I hope that it can be resolved and that you will have representation. And I do plan to still be involved in some points when I can. And I will tell you guys, if you see me in the audience, okay. If you see me coming to the podium, watch that.
All right. I support the 1% also as a sales tax. We do have employers in this county where people come from other places to come to work. VCBR, DOC, FAST-C, Pickett. So those people passing through could stop and get a little bit of fast food or get gas or whatever the 1% applies to. So I do support that. With that, I'll take a motion to go into closed session.
I make a motion that we go into closed session. You want me to read it?
You want to read it? Go ahead.
I'll do it. I move that the Board of Supervisors, Nottoway County, Virginia, adjourn into closed meeting pursuant to Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A8. Consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel, and A29, discussion of award public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offerers, and discussion of the terms and the scope of such contract where a discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, specifically regarding the courthouse complex construction and also the county's broadband project.
Have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. We're in closed session.
And Mr. Chairman, please, I'd like to have this Kelly there with you guys too, if you don't mind.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Jennifer, you coming back?
She's coming, Andy.
Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Nottoway County, Virginia has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act. And whereas 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this Board of Supervisors that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Nottoway County, Virginia hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting, to which this certification resolution applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the Board of Supervisors. And 3, no action was taken in the closed meeting regarding the items discussed. We're going to certify. Mr. Ingram.
I certify.
I certify. Mr. Collins. Mr. Toth.
I certify it.
Ms. Norton.
I certify.
We've got 4 certifies. I'll now take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
All in favor? Please stand up.
That means your last official meeting.
Yes, woo-hoo.
Drug her into the last minute.
All the way.
All right, lady. Oh, I totally agree.
I'm gonna run checks and payments for you, Doc. I didn't imagine I'd be able to do that. Andre, you have a good night, ma'am. Very well.